Hi, I'm Robbie and welcome to another episode of Sailing Iluka, where we take our 46-foot ketch from Adelaide all the way up to Darwin and beyond via the east coast of Australia. In this episode we start off in the beautiful Percy Island Group, one of my favourite places, and then we end up in the Lindemans. However, we do have to make a couple of detours on the way. One of them is into Mackay to go and get some electrical issues fixed, and we also get the opportunity there to catch up with our old mate and just have a look at boat he's running as well. Interesting little episode this one, hope you enjoy. Well, another beautiful day out here on the water. Whales up in front. Woohoo. That's little Percy Island's up there, or the Percy Group just behind that as well. Look, heaps of history in this place. We're only going to stay here for one night, unfortunately, but you stay here for a week. The island's it's one of my favourite spots. Matthew Flinders, he first surveyed all this area back in 1802 or something. I think it was about, he also noted that there'd been nomadic Aboriginals on the place. Bit of checkered history here, 1830, a couple of visiting botanists that were there actually got killed by the some of the local folk, but anyway, 1860 I think it was, Jimmy Ross settled here and he was sort of the first resident. He helped build the lighthouse, that was 1880 or something, over there in Pine Inlet. And then 1887 it was Colonel Armitage who took on the first official lease. He started growing coffee, raising sheep and cattle. But then the White family, who were very influential on the island, they arrived here in 1921 and they were the ones that built the big homestead that's still here today, and they run the island basically as a sheep farm. Andrew Martin then, it was 1964, that's when he sort of came over, and he was the one that sort of started to look after boaties quite well, built the A-frame house down there, the A-frame shelter down there, planted all the palm trees along the place, and it's sort of been family and relatives looking after him ever since. But it's a great place for yachties, you'll see when you get here. Well worth the effort to come out here and have a look, it's just sensational. All right, let's go. Good morning everybody, another beautiful day here in Little Percy Island. We've decided, we've been having issues with the alternator, it's off and on, and every time it goes off of course we lose a tachometer and a few other bits and pieces. So we're going to make a diversion and get into Mackay, and there's an auto electrician there, or a marine guy that can have a look at it for us and get it fixed. We've got other ways of generating power. You should always have backups, and we've got another 2 or 3 ways of making 12 volt. However, you know, it's just one of those things. While we're here, we can get it fixed. It's going to be harder further north we go, the more remote we get. So yeah, we'll sneak into Mackay, go and have a look, and hopefully be able to get this thing fixed and be underway again pretty soon. So anchors up and away we go. All right. Okay, so here we are, anchors up. Listen, a lot of people ask, oh, you know, putting anchors in and out. We're going to show you how to put an anchor out later on, but putting one in or pulling it in is just as easy. You know, we always have a bridle on it and that sort of stuff. We're lucky, big hydraulic winch. put a switch, and up we go. What you do when you bring the anchor in, you're going to bring the boat up to it. Now you'll see we've got a mark coming up here now. Alright, we mark our chain. So this mark comes through here. It's got 3 red rings on it, you might see that. Went about 30 metres to take out in a second. So we just keep on slowly pulling this up, and what we're doing, we're actually pulling the boat towards the anchor. So we're just using the anchor winch to actually get a bit of momentum on the boat. Because what's going to have to happen is that when we get to the very end, we want to sort of just go over the end of the anchor and be able to break it free. So we're just using the boat, or the winch of the boat, to do that. Remember, we're 20 tonne, so once she gets going, she gets going. So we'll pull her up at about a knot, and yeah, once we get to the end, you'll find that the mighty anchor will just automatically come up without any hesitation whatsoever. This is the way that we always do it, just moving forward, and yeah, away we go. The big trick is, once you start, you don't stop. That's for us anyway. She's broken free. And she's home. That's it. Mackay now with loads of ships out there with fast. They're all out on the horizon and just making our way into the marina. You go through the outer harbour, then into the marina. B22 is where we're going. Okay, so for all of our YouTube people on Sailing Iluka, you know my buff-headed mate here, right? Here we go. Now we're just in the hairdressers and we're going to get a full-on mullet of this beautiful locks here. Right. Mission accomplished.
First haircut in years.
No,
can't go wrong.
You just look beautiful. Well, we've got the alternator back, which is really, really good news, and we got it all back in within. We dropped it off this morning to them at 8 o'clock. And it's now just after 2 o'clock and it's done, so 6 hours. Main culprit was the brushes, we're believing. Right, you can see these are gone in here. Right, and so they just happened to be able to get these with a brand new rectifier plate on the back of it, and that bit now has been replaced, been put back in there. So now it's just the fun bit, getting all the way down in here and making it all go back together and all work again. So anyway, this is the glorious boat as it looks. Fair bit of the time when you're working on shit. We'll see how we go. Handy hint. This is a handy hint. So if you're ever working on stuff, right, in the engine or whatever it is, buy yourself a box of these hygienic gloves, food handling gloves. And the reason being, you can stick them on, and then if you're ever in and out of the engine well, right, they're so easy to get on and off. Right, yeah, right. But the thing is, you know, once you're covered with grease and shit like that, there's nothing worse than you got to get out to go and do something, and as soon as you touch anything, you put grease and crap all over everything. So you buy these, they're about 5 cents each. You can feel, you can do whatever you need to do. You get grease and stuff all over them. As soon as you got to get out, you don't want to put, you know, everything you touch in here is white. You don't want to put grease and crap all over it. Peel them off, chuck them in the bin, put a new set on. Keeps the boat very clean, keeps the girlfriend happy. Handy hint. Out now. Okay, so we've finished working on the engine. Clean hands. Good tip. So, the moment of truth. If all goes to plan, we turn the ignition on, we should have an ignition light. Oh, very good. And if we hit the big button, we should have a taco. Oh, even better. All right, that's good. Onwards and upwards, big fella. Whitsundays, here we come. Just checking. Oh yes, charging voltage. Sensational. All right, away we go. Well, here we are in downtown Mackay. Now, you wouldn't believe who I've run into. This is my ex-patriot in crime, James. Now, you would have remembered James. James is doing a delivery in Portland on Erica 2.
Yep.
That was so. We spent another great week beside one another. We've known one another for years out of the old commercial Freo days. But anyway, it's so good to catch up with him. He even went and had a haircut yesterday, which was hilarious. Didn't have to hold him down, but that was all good.
Wake up with a mullet.
Make up with a mullet, and there you go. So I tell you, if the worst thing you do in the morning is wake up with a mullet, you're not going too bad. But anyway, we just thought we'd show you this particular boat here because James is doing a delivery for it, and with the COVID stuff, what's happened is he's got caught up here. So tell us a little, like normally, James, what we do, obviously you've seen the videos, you know, someone shares their own boat and what they've done and all that sort of bits and pieces. Well, we know what you've done everything, so that's fine. But just tell us a little bit about the boat, because this is quite an interesting boat.
Yeah, it's a shining design. It's a 60 foot. They call it the Legend, and yeah, it's interesting construction that it's a balsa core and just a very thin fiberglass layer on the outside, and it makes it an incredibly light, incredibly fast cruising boat. Yeah. It's
a great boat. We've just done the walkthrough through light in the bedrooms and that. Everything's so light. Love those mirrors in the back, in the aft when you're walking down the ladders and stuff like that. The owner, does he get out and use it all that much? This is obviously a very fast boat, or go fast. Is he, like, I believe from what you said, he's a bit of a fast cruiser?
Yeah, he likes pushing the limits, and yeah, he likes to do the day trips out to the islands and take the family out. And it's the good thing about this boat, it's very easily sailed by even him and his wife. And being an older guy, he's able to do that really easily. And when he has his kids on and son-in-laws on, it's just a really good boat for taking out to the islands and day trips and that sort of thing. Yeah, so 600 litres of fuel, got a decent sized genset on it. Yeah. We got twin 70. Yeah, Yamnars in it. Yeah, so it'll power up at night. Yeah, about 9 knots when it's sneaking along. So really competent boat. Draws very little. You're saying 600 with the daggers up. Yeah. So yeah, look, it can get in all over the place. But look, it is a beautiful boat without a doubt. So, we always ask what's the best or what's the worst. So apart from the worst being that you met me because you're stranded back, we toured up together again. Stuck with a mullet. Yeah, but anyway, best thing that you've been sailing, like what so far? What's the one that's gone? Gee, this is pretty impressive. Oh well, this boat right here doing 24 knots. I mean, I've been racing my whole life, and you know, we're lucky to hit 20 knots, 19 knots racing, and now we're cruising and we're going even faster, and it's happy days. You know? Yeah, so 24 knots, what was the wind? About 35. Yeah, so yeah, confident boat, but you've got to have the round ones if you're out there in the sea pushing them that hard, I reckon. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's a bit scary if you're gonna do it on a cat, especially. I've been a monosailor my whole life with the big lump of lead at the bottom of the boat. It helps the confidence. You know? Yeah, no worries. But anyway, look, it's obviously it's really good to see that, you know, he's out there using the boat, because our whole thing is you've got to get out and use them and do bits and pieces. Mate, once again, it's been an absolute privilege catching up with you. Thanks, mate. So look, all the best. Cheers, you know, we know we're going to catch up with one another soon. We're heading north now, but mate, keep in touch, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? Sure is, mate. Look forward to the next one. Okay, so off we go from Mackay, and from here off to Keswick Island for the afternoon. So only a short trip today. Anyway, might stop and get a bit of fishing. We'll see how we go. Bye bye Mackay, lovely weather. This is Keswick Island, rising out of the depths. Quite a pretty island. There is a resort here, it's a bit run down apparently, and there's a really nice channel that we're going to go and try and find in Anchorage.
guys at Keswick. So Pete's on board, obviously, Ox. So today I've asked him to play a game that not a lot of Tasmanians ever get to play. And what the game is, it's called Pick the Tropical Island that you want to take the boat to tonight. So, because we're at the bottom end of the Whitsundays, so he's down there at the moment, hitting the books, studying, to try and work out where exactly we're going to go. So, I'm not sure how he's travelling with it all. We'll see. Here he is, hard at work, studying away. We'll be setting the exam in the very near future, and we'll bring the results directly to you. Just playing the mooring shuffle, so off we go. "35 minutes later, and the verdict is?
Thomas Island.
Thomas it is then. Thomas! Thomas! Where are you, Thomas? Thomas! Thomas, where are you? Thomas! Was going to be our destination for the night, but we've decided to keep moving. So look, you've got Long Rock just over there, and Kaiser Island behind it, and then Shore Island. So we're going to head up to shore. It just gives us a little bit better protection from the wind, and there is an easterly current blowing at the moment, and just on the other side of it is Lindeman. So yeah, it's Pick an Island. It's one of those sort of type of bits here. Okay, lovely day sailing. Here's Ox, had to go back to the boat. Beautiful scenery, mate. Why'd you have to go back to the boat?
Because you forgot the friggin' esky.
You forgot the esky, the most important part of our sundowners. Anyway, there we go, in the bay. So here we are at the end of the beach here, Lindeman Island. All the boats are out there on the moorings. The dinghy's down there at the end. Pete's walking along with us as well. It's just absolute bliss. But you know what? It's not for me, because I had my beer in a stubby cooler and I had to take it out of the stubby cooler. And the reason I had to do that was because I started to find all these bits of plastic and crap on the beach. So now I've filled my stubby cooler up, look, with bottles and bits of plastic and rope. Plastics in the ocean isn't a good thing. So yeah, my handy hint for today is don't chuck plastics in the ocean. Don't chuck plastics out on the street, because they all end up in the ocean. We've got to stop doing this, eh? Like it's really sad. Like, we love the ocean, and what are we doing? Crazy. Anyway, back to the real world. Let's just enjoy the view, eh? Cheers. So that's all we've got time for this episode. I hope you enjoy. Next time you see us, we take our boat onto one of the most picturesque beaches in Australia and blow up our gearbox, which is pretty exciting. Hope you can join us then. In the interim, stay safe, like us, subscribe, and hopefully one day we'll see you out on the water as well. Cheers.